last night. Groovy, make the rifle revel like a rasp bike. Classic, yeah, she pretty, yes, but the boss wife. So big top shot and losing them grass life. When you're sitting at the club with liquor a flask like the Moet, don't forget the magnum a blast right. Me cat it, have me head, cause me start fight. She said. She show you say she cooler than a frostbite. When she squeeze it, hey, like a last guy. Me cooler than Alaska last night. Hey, when them use murder, Jesus, me cross like him. The judge a screw you, me slaughter a few. She say what you please, me say yeah, and I fuck you. She say make a psychiatrist, if I with you, but I'll bells you, say me them one know where you love wear pants. For the 6 pants, I give them a answer. We insane, and we cooler than the seas. If the Kwanzaa bullet damage lungs like cancer. Them a ask rain where she rolling with the bumper. What in a them time, and when one start to cancer.
When you're a novice, here to smash the scene and stick a finger up to Boris. Because I'm green fingered up my flowers like a florist. I'm not picking out the weeds cause my lounge is like a forest. The best new up and coming yet and I ain't being modest. I'm just honest, got some freshers, I'ma drop it, just stop it. Cause I'm out to make profit here. See the haters jumping on it. your soul when the sound appears. Vibrations tearing up the vibrations tearing up the you can feel it in your soul when the sound appears. Vibrations tearing up.
Say 10 out of 10 is where the girl must score with a S on her chest, extreme that core. Move on over the pump of the dancing floor, the floor, man. And when I tell you, ladies, baby girl, Lord of mercy, I say I'm true.
Whipping with the lights in auto mode, now you're cruising. Drugs in your system, you're abusing. You find it all amusing, you let yourself loose from the lines and the boozing. Early doors till we see the subs moving. Back behind the deck with the mic, now we're grooving. In the same boat, stop the pain and the illusion. Feel it in your movements. You find it all amusing, you let yourself loose from the early doors till we now we're grooving. Tops for your head top, get your legs moving. Skank to your neck lock. Feel it in your movements. You find it all amusing, you let yourself loose from the early doors till we head in the cone, know the beeline. Superman, we're back, but we belong unite. Up support the movement. Feel it in your movements. You find it all amusing, you let yourself loose from the
now he's coming to call the girls them Dada. Otherwise known as the girls them Emperor. Right around the world, equator, we the girl them scream for Allah. Well, tell ya. Well, all sexy girls who no run up in a days. All of the girls them were full of hotness. Obviously the girls them when them looking crazy. Obviously the girls them looking expensive. When they step in at the place, step in at the premises. I'm sipping for a Guinness and a blaze up a spliff. Grab the microphone and start chat some lyrics. The girl them say them man and them not stop low kiss. Girls them Dada, we are the girls them Dada. Follow me now. Girls them Dada, we are the girls Emperor.
I just want to dedicate to all girl picking at the place.
Now he's coming to call the girls them Dada. Otherwise known as the girls them Emperor. Girls them Dada, we are the girls them Dada. Follow me now. Girls them Dada, we are the girls Emperor. Girls them Dada, we are the girls them Dada. Girls them Dada, we are the girls Emperor. And right round the world, we the girls them follow. And it no really matter if we dey a Canada. And it no really matter if we dey a Africa. And even if we dey up in a Antarctica. The girl them say them and them just a shout out Dada. And when them see them and them just a shout out Papa. And anywhere where there is respect and honor. And make me teach them about the girls Emperor. Girls them Dada, we are the girls them Dada. Follow me now. Girls them Dada, we are the girls them Dada. Girls them Dada, we are the girls Emperor. And anywhere where they out here hot girl follow. Here we are when listen up the area. Here we are, live living color. And anywhere where they are with the girls them follow. And when them see them and them just a scream and holler. A serious thing is not no propaganda. And if you think I like ask the media. Anyway, fuck me.
The sleeve of my jacket, she believes, say I'm magic when she sit up and they sitting tight longer than a machine. No stress, no panic. The way your body good, you're blessed.
So, welcome to the first episode of the Fully Charged podcast. I'm joined here with our first guest, writer Shafique. So, good to have you on. We were meant to have you down in person, and we were planning to have you down a couple of months ago. We had sort of like a venue out, but COVID and all of that, so screwed that over. So Zoom is now the best place to do it.
Yeah.
So, just a little introduction of yourself to the viewers that don't know who you are.
I'm writer Shafique, a UK-based vocalist. I do lots of different musical genres, mainly known for like drum and bass and dubstep kind of stuff, but I do all sorts, hip hop, dancehall, spoken word. Possibly I'm known more for the spoken word stuff as well. Yeah.
Cool.
I'm
So,
all around creative as well. I do more than just music at the moment. So yeah.
so did you have quite a big music influence when you were growing up? Before, like, this was your career path? Is that what you wanted to do?
I've always been interested in creative things, creative projects. Music was kind of an outlet, a way of expressing myself. Music was, always around me. I kind of found my identity and found like positive representation of myself throughout music. That being like hip hop and reggae in the 90s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. It's kind of helped me form my identity. So yeah.
So what was your first sort of venture into like the creative world before being in the music industry?
But obviously you do things throughout like school age. And sometimes there's different projects you do at school that you really enjoy. So like my options when I was at school were art and things like that. And I found music at school wasn't music that we liked. It was very like classical music.
Yeah.
It's very limited. Like what you could do was limiting. So it kind of like kills your aspirations towards music.
When it's music you're not enjoying, you don't really want to be doing that type of music.
Yeah, and it's limited what you can do, man, you know?
Yeah. What type of music were you into?
Dancehall.
Dancehall, yeah.
Reggae.
Yeah, school aren't really providing that, I can imagine.
No. And hip hop and stuff, yeah.
So
I wasn't at school, you didn't do that. So at school I was more focused on art.
And then, so leaving school, when did you start to develop more interest into the music side?
Well, when I was at, when you start getting in your teenage years, then you start to develop your own kind of musical taste and your own identity. So then you'd start to play different music. And me, I started to venture out and go to Birmingham and go to London and places and start to buy records and start to buy tapes, like sound system tapes from Jamaica and bits and pieces like that. And then we used to also get drum and bass tapes and hip hop mixtapes. I used to collect a lot of hip hop mixtapes from like New York and stuff. And then you just start dabbling and start writing your own rhymes and going over instrumentals and MCing over drum and bass mixes and stuff like that.
Finding out what you like.
Around that, that teenage age, around that kind of age. And then there were certain things that happened, like certain talent contests and stage shows that happened locally that we just got involved in.
So is that in Gloucester?
Yeah.
So growing up in Gloucester, what type of opportunities were there for, not necessarily like drum and bass music, but sort of music opportunities out there for you to help you get like your foot in the door?
I don't know if there was any to help get your foot in the door, but we did used to have regular youth club sessions.
Yeah.
We had like Gloucester Fair. Like when the fair came, there was always events. So we used to have a regular talent contest or a reggae stage and different bits and pieces that we just got involved in. Like there used to be talent contests at Jamaican Club and things like that.
Because that's what I feel at the moment in the cities was lacking. Doesn't seem to be many opportunities for people musically at the moment.
That's because everybody's doing their own thing.
Yeah, that's what
we need. There's some things happening, but we need like venues to be in support of those.
Yeah.
We don't really have any venues in Gloucester.
Not at all.
There's so much that
have you ever been to Jack's nightclub? Down, it's like by Boots. We're lucky enough to be able to put events on there, but they're probably one of two venues in Gloucester that would let drum and bass happen, and we're lucky enough to have the support from there. But when we were looking to start up the promotion, all the venues we messaged just weren't interested in drum and bass, weren't looking to support drum and bass. Yeah. And it's a shame really, because there is such a demand for it. especially with like the younger generation now coming into it. It's more mainstream than it was, and people just need to accept the fact that it's now what people want, instead of like just all the normal music you hear up in like a normal nightclub.
Proud of your size, proud of your looks, and you're proud of your style. Proud of your body, your bumper and thighs. You're proud of your complexion, so kill him with a smile.
How old were you when you sort of started taking this job more professionally and knew where this is where you wanted to be?
It's something that we always do, because I'm not the only MC from Gloucester.
No. Are you friends with like Impact MC?
Yeah, Impact and Dread MC and
Dread
Grizz,
MC,
and
Grizz,
you know, but we've all, generationally we've all been doing this. We're just a few that have continued and kind of got some success. Or
I didn't actually realise how many big names had come out of Gloucester or Gloucestershire, and it is quite impressive to see that people who are relevant in the scene now have come from the small city. Yeah,
definitely. Like Dynamite, one of the first recognised MCs on a big scale is from Gloucester, you know?
Oh, no way. Never knew that.
Dynamite MC from Ronnie Side stuff. So yeah, lots of people been doing things. Like I'd say, within my age group or my peer group, I'd say like 50% of us were MC and loads of us were doing it. But it's about continuing and just getting those opportunities, like the doors opening for you, you know?
And what would you say your first major opportunity was in?
Well, there were other people, but you see, I was never focused on being just a drum and bass MC or being a dancehall MC or a rapper or whatever. I was kind of open-minded. So there's another guy from Gloucester who was a few years older than me, Martin Fishley. He was signed to Sony Records. He was working with a group called Pressure Drop.
Okay.
So because he heard me doing my bits and pieces, he said, yeah, Ryder, you're good, whatever, you want to do some tunes. And so I was doing bits and pieces. I was recording to music, and he took one of my songs to Brighton, where Pressure Drop were based at the time, and they said they wanted to work with me. So from that, I started to tour and go all over the world with them and Mr. Martin, like touring with music. But it wasn't necessarily doing what I set out to do. Like
it just fell in place.
Trip hop sounds, and it was like breakbeat and different kind of musical genres that, if you asked me initially if I wanted to do them, I wouldn't have wanted to do them.
But as time came
on, I was open-minded, and I was
open-minded,
looking for the opportunity, and I wanted to get my foot in the industry, so to say. So I kind of compromised and did all these other bits and pieces.
Okay. And I guess it's worked for sure.
Yeah.
So before you were touring and had your, before you were with these people, your name Ryder Shafique is quite a unique name. Has that been a nickname from when you were younger?
Kind of gave myself a name.
You just gave yourself a name?
Yeah, but it didn't come like overnight. It wasn't just Ryder. I had lots of different names, and then I was just Ryder, but it didn't feel like it was. Ryder didn't.
There wasn't any personality behind it.
It wasn't unique enough. You know, anyone can just think of Ryder.
Yeah, for sure.
I called myself Ryder because I could write, because of that versatility. I could write different genres. I could do dance, I could do reggae, I could do drum and bass, I could do hip hop, I could do whatever it was.
Yeah, no, that's, when you think about it like that is very unique. So, looking into now the drum and bass scene you're in now, you're on Critical Music with Sam Binga. I saw you tour around New Zealand. How did you get working with them and like Sam Binga, for example?
Well, Sam Binga was signed. So back in 2009, I did an album with Martin Fishley, and that was a breakbeat kind of label. Breakbeat, but it was at the beginning of dubstep. So they had the breakbeat label was Against the Grain, and then they made a spin-off label from that called Cool and Deadly. And Sam Binga and ID were working together at the time, and they were on the same label, or they had a release on the same label.
Okay.
Like Sam Binga asked me to come down to the studio. He was based up in like Yorkshire or Sheffield or somewhere up north.
Yeah.
And he approached me and asked me to, but he recently moved to Bristol.
Okay, yeah.
He asked me to do a few tunes with him, and I did it, and then you know, the relationship just stayed from there. So
yeah,
easy to work. I'm easy to work with. I'm a kind of, I'd like to say I'm a nice guy. So yeah.
And from there, the relationship built, and then yeah, that's it.
And then because I work with him on Critical, then other producers want something similar. And so that's how I start to work with Vrama and Enai and other people on the label, QZB and stuff like that.
Is that sort of your first big major breakthrough with on the bigger label side in the drum and bass?
No man, I've done loads of stuff, man. I was like, even back before then, I was doing stuff on like different labels, hip hop labels. You know, you meet a lot of people on the road and a lot of people on this journey, and then it kind of comes full circle.
Networking, yeah. Meet one person there, and then months down the line, they may want to work with you again.
Yeah.
When writing music, what are your inspirations behind like your lyrics, your bars, what you put into the work? I'm
inspired by what I like.
Yeah.
So if I hear a track that or MC or a vocalist that I like, I try to kind of capture what it is about that person I like, or what it is about that tune that I like, and I try to recreate that.
Adapt it into their
style. And I just write about what I see or what I know.
Have you got a writing process? Have you got like a book or?
Listen to the music and then write whatever comes. Just kind of it'll just come.
So naturally.
So I write my lyrics to the beat, to the music.
Is it all like sort of off the top? If you're in the studio, will you have sort of a rough idea of what you want to have on the beat, or will you just listen to the tune and then see what comes naturally?
The thing is, whatever you practice, you get good at.
Sure.
And that's normal in anything, you know. Whatever it is you do a lot of, you're gonna be good at it. So I'm at a stage now where I can write in the studio. So if you book me for the studio and you played me a beat, within a couple hours we'd have the finished tune. You know, some things take a lot more thought and like maybe a bit of research dependent on subject. But generally, when it's just vibes and it's just talking about just like enjoying yourself and certain subjects, the streets or girls or whatever it is, that just come. To me, that's just second nature. That's just part of the job. I can go in and I can do that, you know. But it also depends on how the music makes me feel.
Yeah, I guess it comes from the emotions that you'll get when you listen to the tune, current feelings.
Proud of your size, proud of your looks and you're proud of your style, proud of your body, your bumper and thighs, you're proud of your complexion, so kill him with a smile.
So the big questions now, moving on, COVID-19. How has almost like the elephant in the room, how's that affected you as a career, your music? Has it affected you festival-wise?
Well, obviously I don't have no live shows.
Yeah.
There's a few Zoom shows or whatever, bits and pieces, so...
They're just not the same.
Yeah.
Again, tedious now. Everyone wants the real raves back.
And also studios have closed. Well, some studios have closed. So, dependent on lockdown and whatever, so...
Do you have a home studio?
It's not as easy for me to go in and record as like before.
Yeah.
Not really. I do have bits, but to me, I I prefer somebody else to do all that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I just want to vibe and write the lyrics and do that and get somebody else to record. And
did you have much planned sort of 2020 coming into 2020 when this is all happening, like career-wise?
Yeah, 2020 I had an American tour.
Oh really?
I got halfway through, but that got cancelled. I was supposed to go to Japan in April, that got cancelled. There's a band that I was working with in Japan that I wanted to work with. I was going to go back out and work with, that got cancelled. And obviously my output hasn't been as much. I still done lots of tunes, but it hasn't been as much because of the
consistency. I feel that's with everyone now. It's not the current times, you know, it's difficult to have the motivation when there's not sort of like an end date in sight. Hopefully now as we come into 2021, things will start normalising and coming to maybe to the end of it, we'll start getting some more regular events and stuff. And it's probably quite, because did you tour New Zealand 2018?
It was Christmas and New Year 2019. Because it was the beginning of 2019.
Because now seeing New Zealand how they are now with the festivals and events they've got, must be difficult seeing that when you were once there, and now climate we're in here with absolutely nothing. Like you said, can't even go to the studio and they're out raving.
But we don't know how long it's gonna last, so you gotta think creatively, man. You gotta think if things change completely for the long run, we gotta think of new ways to get this. Because regardless, music's gonna happen. People do what people do. Humans do. Yeah. Part of that is expression and music. So we just have to adapt and think of new ways to get the music out to people.
That's it, because I think the hardest thing for me in this whole lockdown was finding my creativity. I always like bouncing off other people, going to an event, hearing something I like, or just doing my day-to-day life and sit whilst it's all been on pause, finding that creative spark and finding new ideas. Just haven't been there because being in like your bedroom all day or whatever, there's no fresh ideas coming in.
Yeah.
And then looking into like, have you got any plans, objectives for 2021, or moving on forward in your career?
I'm just gonna live, man.
Yeah.
You know, life goes on. We just adapt. I'm doing loads of tunes still. I'm doing different sounding stuff. I'm dabbling in a bit of co-production. I like producing things other than music. Like I've got visions for different art exhibitions and things that need to happen to kind of change the environment that we're living in. So yeah, I'm just keeping busy, man, and using what I've got.
Yeah.
And doing what we can do. You know, things change, but there's still creative ways of doing things. And there's different ways we can take music out to the people, or there's different ways we can make things happen and projects happen and collaborations happen. So, you know, it's just about thinking forward and thinking creatively and being a couple steps ahead. So yeah.
And then have you got anything you'd like to tell the audience?
That's that life continues, man. We just gotta adapt. Music and those things, music, art, expression, we're gonna do that regardless, no matter what the climate's like. So it's just about being creative and keeping focused, and like life continues, you know, like that.
I agree. Brilliant.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get you down sometime when it's all. We're Gloucester started in nearly a year ago, so we announced the brand as lockdown started. So straight away, like we had to cancel all our events from the get-go, but that gave us sort of 6 months to sit down, plan exactly what we want out of the brand. Gave us like 12-month, 6-month, 12-month, 24-month visions where we want to be, and then from there we've managed to just build up really good networks with people. We had a festival booking last year, but got cancelled, and now we've got festival bookings this year. We've got residency at a nightclub in Gloucester.
Okay.
3,000 following on Facebook, just hit 2,000 on Instagram. So we're growing. And then, record label, the first 14-track LP is being really dropped on March with producers and vocalists all on. We wanted to So what we've seen is there's like a difference in DJs and MCs and vocalists, and it always seems to be DJs at the top of the lineup and then MCs at the bottom in small print. So what we wanted to strive with is make sure that when we're making tracks, if there is a vocalist on, they're getting the exact same treatment. No better way than the first LP was every track's got an MC, vocalist, singer, complete wide range of the spectrum. And then that's sort of our thing.
Oh man.
Yeah. Do you still live in Gloucester, Ben?
Yeah.
Cool. Have you been there your whole life?
Yeah.
Wicked. So hopefully, when things start to calm down and stuff, we'll get you down. But as it stands now, everything's just up in the air. Event after event's just being cancelled. And
Yeah.
Not good, but good. Like you said, creative ways come up in other places. So this gives us time just to focus on things like this, being able to do a podcast, quick half an hour over Zoom, instead of having to go down to a studio and book it out. But I really appreciate you coming down and spending the time. Chat to you soon.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers, man. See you later. Bye-bye.
Proud of your size, proud of your looks and you're proud of your style. Proud of your body, your bumper and thighs. You're proud of your complexion, so killing me that smile.